Now, it's time to meet the players of college sports today, presented by the Allen Law Firm, and get this show started. He's a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a first-round NFL draft choice, and a member of the College Football Hall of Fame as both a player and coach. He is the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. He's a rare two-time SEC Player of the Year and spent over a decade in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Matthews. And presenting the host of the show, with over 25 years of sports broadcasting experience, Terry Norvelle. Coming to you from the Future Home Loan Studio inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grille, it's time for College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle. Presented by the Allen Law Firm.
Week 12 of the college football season is in the books, and at least around these parts, the storyline is not exactly what all happened on the field Saturday, but what has happened off the field on Sunday out of Gainesville as the University of Florida. You probably have heard by now, the University of Florida has cut ties, fired Dan Mullen as their head football coach. The head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, joins me. Terry Norvelle, glad you're with us here. We'll tell you all about our great sponsors as we go. You see the great logos on the screen, the people that make this show happen. Thank you to our title sponsor, the Allen Law Firm, and we are broadcasting inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grille, of course, inside the Future Home Loans studio. Coach, everybody would want to know right out of the gate, your thoughts. Just sum up where this ended up. Dan Mullen, yesterday midday, it came out publicly that Florida and Dan Mullen have decided to part ways. Take a few minutes and your overall thoughts of how we got to this point almost 4 years into his tenure.
My feeling and thoughts, I think, were about like everybody's. After the FSU game, he's either going to stay or go, one or the other.
Sure.
And I had absolutely no idea it was happening on Sunday afternoon yesterday.
Okay.
Buddy Martin called me, said they're having a press conference, and it looks like Dan Mullen's going to be fired and let go. And that's the first I'd heard of it.
Okay.
Some people think I have input on the coaches. My title is ambassador. It's not associate athletic director for football. So I have no input. If they want to ask me about this guy or that guy, I'll say I like him, maybe him or maybe him. But when Dan Mullen was hired 4 years ago, Scott Strickland said, I'm going to hire Dan Mullen. I said, I think he is the best guy we can hire. So that was my input into that. And whoever he chooses to hire this time around, I hope I'll be able to say I think he's the best guy we can hire.
Yeah.
But I have no input in that and should not have it. But again, I thought we would wait till after this game. But like Scott Strickland said, it had to be done. Let's do it now. And have an interim this game. I think the same thing almost happened with McElwain 4 years ago, or three or four, something like it, 4 years ago.
4 years ago, yes.
So it's a very similar situation as back then.
So to reiterate and go back, though, and you really answered what I wanted to go to thought process number two. As of right now, you have no role in the search.
No.
And or role in, you've not been asked your opinion yet. You certainly would be happy to give it, as you stated a moment ago. But as of right now, you have no role in the search that we think is going on right now.
I am not on the search committee, and I certainly was not on the firing committee either.
Okay.
Some people thought I had a role in Dan Mullen leaving. That's absolutely not true at all. And again, I was surprised and thought after the game this Saturday, we'll know one way or another what's going to happen.
Tough situation, Dan Mullen. It appears here in Scott Strickland's presser yesterday, Dan Mullen was given the opportunity to go ahead and finish off the final game coming up Saturday at home against Florida State. He decided maybe it's best to go ahead and walk away, so there'll be an interim coach. Greg Knox will handle that. Your thoughts on that? I know you've said a couple times, kind of when things are over, it might be best to
do it then.
Do it then. Your thoughts on Dan Mullen? And he was offered and decided to not coach the final regular season game.
Yeah, I don't blame him in a way. If I was not in charge, really, I would probably say I'm gone too. And I left South Carolina on my own, but I wasn't in charge because nobody listened to me hardly at all. So I allowed a situation to go bad, and I deserved to be fired. So I basically fired myself. But anyway, now Dan will bounce back. He's an excellent coach. He'll get another job offer somewhere. McElwain's the head coach up at Central Michigan, or
yes.
Western Michigan, one of those Michigans up there.
Yeah.
And Dan will bounce back somewhere, I really believe.
Yesterday, when the news came out publicly and made social 1:30-ish, it started breaking. Right around that same time, and it's hard to tell when things are social media rumors or there's any legs, but I want to throw a name that popped up. The names have been thrown out for any of the jobs this year are Lane Kiffin and Billy Napier and different names like that. Bob Stoops' name hit kind of viral yesterday, and I know, and many people know that you and Bob are still buddies and know each other and communicate. He's doing a wonderful job on TV. His name went kind of viral in and around the Florida job. Any insight? Have you talked to Bob about anything about maybe getting back in it and what do you consider Florida?
The only thing I would say is that if Bobby wants to get back in college coaching, I think Florida would be his choice job because he has a place at Crescent Beach, hour and a half drive from Gainesville. But now whether or not he wants to get back in college coaching, somebody else, maybe his wife can tell you that, but not me.
Interesting. So no real insight there. Time frame. What do you think? Florida, obviously, one more regular season game. If you're talking and negotiating, through agents with coaches that are still coaching, everybody has one regular season game to go, and then depending on what bowl game and championship games and things like that. What are your thoughts on a time frame when Florida might announce? I mean, would it be, do you think, directly after FSU, a week later, and then you've got that early signing date, December 18th, that muddies up things as well? You kind of want to get a guy in place as quick as you can, but you want to make the right hire.
I have no idea, Terry. I can tell you what I did back in 1990. We just won the ACC at Duke, and I told my team, I'm going to hang with you guys through the bowl game. Just because we celebrated for about 3 weeks.
Sure.
And we all loved each other, and we had some fun for 3 weeks. We lost the bowl game, and then I drove to Gainesville and got hired after that. So I basically gave up 2 or 3 weeks of recruiting.
Gotcha.
A lot of people said, you ought to be down here recruiting those weeks. Well, we were under investigation, and not hardly anybody wanted to go to Florida anyway. So we didn't have a big signing class. We had a few here and there. But fortunately, the players were already here.
Yeah.
So even though you skip maybe a great signing class one year, you can make it up the next year, which we did. Actually 2 years later, Danny Warfel and his guys, we had #1 class in the nation. So that's what kicked us off after that 91 season for the 4 in a row SEC championship.
And, going back to that time frame you just referenced, Coach Spurrier, there was no early signing period. So even if you stuck around with your existing team, you still had 5 to 6 weeks from late December to that first Wednesday in February. So you still had 5 to 6 weeks. The dynamic, and we talked on Friday's show here on College Sports Today, the dynamic of that early signing period. The early signing period now is that third Wednesday in December. It comes up, I believe, December 18th. And about 80% of the kids use it. The early signing period has so many positives. It's good for so many reasons. One of the unintended consequences is that if you're a program that makes a move on a coach, either from a negative standpoint or maybe your coach is taking what they think is a higher job, that early signing period is it's a handful of days later. So that's one unintended negative of that early signing period.
Yeah, that's probably why the athletic directors and those who make the decisions would like to do it before the early signing period. But it's hard to do, but that could be a reason.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the game real quick, take a break, then, Coach, I want to come back. And a lot happened over the weekend. A lot of teams moved into position to try and grab one of those college football playoff top 4 spots, and a lot of teams played their way out. The game, Florida, Missouri, overtime loss, not a great performance by the Gators. A lot of people are grousing, and I know you won't have to question Mullen's approach anymore, but boy, Florida gets the ball 35 yards away from a potential game-winning field goal, and they sit on it, Coach, to go to overtime. Your thoughts of the game?
That was surprising. Yeah, that was surprising, I think, to all of us. It came down to the 2-point play. If they don't make it, is Dan Mullen still the coach, or even if maybe we win by 1 point, do we make a change? I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, Missouri executed that play. Seems like the guy looked like tight end, a little high, went right across our linebacker. I just wish when the ball was in the air, that guy was waiting on it. Somebody at least hit him after he caught it.
Quarterback threw off his back foot, couldn't get any mustard on it.
It seemed like our guys just ran right past him or something. I don't know. But it was a defeat, defeat for the Gators, and change is on the way.
So it was ironic. It was almost like the different performance from the previous week. The defense really played hard, and the offense couldn't really get much going. It was just the opposite in the Sanford game, where the defense couldn't get a stop, and the offense marched up and down. Yeah. So some people say that's the sign of a team that's kind of in flux a little bit. So there you have it. Coach, stay where you're at. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to look at Week 12. A lot happened over this past week, Coach. A couple of very impressive performances, including the Ohio State Buckeyes. Wow, the big game of the weekend on Saturday was a big game until they kicked it off. A lot of games to review. We'll do that and a lot more. It's College Sports Today with the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, when we come back.
Plan was a leisurely ride out to Williston on my Honda Rebel 500. I had a pretty bad accident. There was only one name I thought of, and that was Bill Allen. I knew that Bill was a UF law school graduate. I knew that he rode motorcycles himself and that his law firm specialized in motorcycle accidents. But what I didn't know is how much Bill cares about all of his clients. And I feel honestly like I hired a law firm. What I got was an extended family.
The good vibes. What? All the good vibes we had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
It's time to thank the sponsors that make College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle possible. Vida de Luis Tequila, the official tequila of College Sports Today. Make sure you ask for Vida de Luis Tequila by name in your favorite bars and restaurants throughout the state of Florida. And of course, with your next margarita inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The official seafood restaurants of College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle can be found up and down the northeast Florida coast. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The proud seafood sponsors of College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, established in 1983 and offering complete site development. Go with the company generally considered the most well-respected heavy civil construction firm in Northeast Florida. Go with J.B. Coxwell Construction. For advertising information to get your business on College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle, simply shoot me an email, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, shoot me, Terry Norvelle, an email, and I'll get back with you. That email address again, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Welcome back to College Sports Today. Coach Steve Spurrier joining me, Terry Norvelle. We appreciate you hanging out with us here, watching or consuming a little bit later on all the podcast platforms. Real quick programming note. Special Thursday broadcast. We'll be on this Thursday, not Friday. I'm going to have Brent Beard catch up with my buddy Brent Beard, and we're going to kind of look around the final weekend. And we're doing the show on Thursday so we can add that Thursday night Egg Bowl to our picks. And Coach Spurrier and Shane, they'll turn in their picks, and we'll do those on a special Thursday. Coach and Shane will have the rest of the week off, but Brent Beard will join me. We'll tape that thing and make sure we get the Egg Bowl, which comes up on Thursday. Coach, we talked a lot about Florida, the parting of the ways between Florida and Dan Mullen. You've given your thoughts, and if people that missed that, you can go to the podcast archive and catch that at any time. I may try and clip that out and put it up on the webpage as well. Interesting week 12, some really impressive performances, and then some programs that kind of played their way out of the college football playoff. First and foremost, goodness gracious, the high noon big game of the day on Saturday was in Columbus. Ohio State hosting Michigan State. Coach, that game was over when they kicked it off. Ohio State is really putting it together.
Yeah, they're peaking at the exact right time toward the end of the year. Michigan State, I heard one of the announcers the other day say, Michigan is the only team with a winning record I think they've beaten.
Is that right? Yeah, sounds about right.
A lot of down-the-line teams. So Michigan State, to me, they're a little bit like Wake Forest. Wake Forest hadn't really beaten a lot of good teams, but they got a wonderful record. And, of course, if Wake can beat Boston College this week, they can win their division.
Yes, they still can.
So,
they still can, yes.
Yeah, Wake's in position to have a big year.
Teams that really benefited had winning weekends. Obviously, Ohio State is already in position. If they just win out now, they got a big win with Michigan, obviously, Saturday. But Cincinnati really benefited from some losses. Oregon and Michigan State getting beat, and they're out now. They both got a couple. So teams that benefited, Coach, Cincinnati had a big win. Those two losses, the loss by Oregon and the loss by Michigan State, benefited Cincinnati, benefited Notre Dame. Notre Dame benefited. Michigan, Oklahoma State, who of course played, they were winners. So some teams really benefited. Oregon, I know you and Shane picked Utah. I missed that game. Boy, Utah just jumped on them in that. That's a tough place to play.
Kyle Willingham became the winningest coach in school history.
How about that?
And I heard that on the radio today, and it was number 142.
Bam.
So whoever was the winningest before, they didn't say, but he had
A
141.
lot of wins, didn't he?
Yeah, that's quite a record that Kyle has broken there. He's been there, I think, 14 or 15 years. Yeah. Very unusual nowadays, a coach stay at one place. So Kyle runs a super program. He's a good guy, and they win. And, gosh, he may have another 15 years there.
I want to say hi to some people, Phil and Carrie, with some comments on Facebook. Adam and Josh Wooten, my buddy Josh Wooten, checking in from Citrus County. Good old Citrus County checking in here on College Sports Today. So big win for Utah. By the way, Utah and Oregon will probably play a week from Saturday again in the Pac-12. They'll probably meet up again. There's a very good chance Oklahoma State, I think, could meet up twice. Oklahoma State is, as I understand it, I read it this morning, Coach, Oklahoma State is already in the Big 12, no matter what happens. It's just a matter of if Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State, Oklahoma would go. If Oklahoma State knocks off the Sooners, Baylor would go. So I think that's how that played out. Yep. Notre Dame and Cincinnati, we called them both winners. The awkwardness with Notre Dame and Cincinnati is I don't think both of them get in. I don't think Cincinnati and Notre Dame would take two of the four spots. But then Cincinnati beat Notre Dame, so Notre Dame's kind of getting squeezed there. They kind of need Cincinnati to get beat to get right. Would Notre Dame get squeezed out because they've lost to Cincinnati? And I don't think both of them would get in, would they, Coach? It'd be hard to think they'd both get in.
Yeah, it just depends on the committee there, which way they want to go. But usually, a lot of people say, what are we doing late in the year?
Sure.
If teams have similar records, well who's playing the best late in the year?
Yeah.
I think it's the way they should do it.
Yeah, definitely. Florida State. Talk about winners. I think Florida State, of course, Florida State this Saturday in Gainesville. Florida State, they jumped all over Boston College. I thought the Noles got a big break with that being a nooner in Boston instead of a night game, but Florida State jumped on them. BC made a run, but Florida State continues, Coach, a really nice second half of the year, and they're going to roll into Gainesville Saturday, almost calling that their bowl game, and if they win it, they go to a bowl game. Talk about the Noles. They've had a heck of a second half of the season.
Yeah, they have. And give the coaches, give their team credit. They were, 3-6 at one time, and now they're 5-6.
Yeah.
Here's what's ironic. The teams we have played the last 4 weeks, we've had the same record that they have.
Is that right?
Starting at South Carolina 4-4.
Okay.
And then we went 4-5 against Samford, and then we were 5-5 against Mizzou, and now we're 5-6 against FSU. The exact same record 4 weeks in a row. I don't know what the odds on that are, but that's that's sort of amazing.
Yeah. You mentioned FSU went. They turned 3-6 into 5-6. Gosh, I think weren't they 0-4 at one point? They were 0-4, I think, and had lost the game to Jacksonville State. So I mean, I remember when FSU way back 6-7 weeks ago, we were all saying they may win 2 games all year. They've really turned it around really well. Coach, you were in Starkville. You went to see Mississippi State. Your son, Steve Spurrier Jr., is the receivers coach for Mike Leach at Mississippi State. You guys went up and took in the game. Heisman talk right now, it looks like a 2-person race now. Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud from Ohio State has really came on. Matt Corral's getting mentioned. You mentioned, is anybody in the country playing better than Will Rogers, quarterback at Mississippi State, and those numbers he's put up?
Yeah, like I said, Terry, Will Rogers, to me, is the best passer in college football. I watched him not only in warm-ups the day before and before the game, but during the games. Of course, he had that one game, he hit 36 of 39. Oof. And then this week, I think he was something like 25 of 30 or something like that. But he is a beautiful passer, throws very catchable ball, and receivers catch everything. So the game this week with Ole Miss, Mississippi State and Ole Miss, might be the biggest in-state rivalry in the country this year.
It very well may.
Ole Miss got a chance to win 10 regular season games, first time in school history, and Mississippi State is. If something happens here, there, and the other, they're still alive if they beat Ole Miss to go to the Sugar Bowl, from what I hear.
Yes.
So, and I'll tell you something else that's sort of interesting. Georgia, the teams on the other side, they did not play Alabama. They did not play Texas A&M.
Nope.
And I don't think they played either of the Mississippis.
Nope.
So they had Arkansas and whoever over there. So they really haven't had an extremely tough schedule this year.
It broke well for Georgia. It really did. Now, a year ago, they had Alabama, and Florida didn't have an Alabama, and it went Florida's way. But, yeah, we knew going in that on paper the schedule this year, and we were comparing Georgia and Florida, thinking they were going to be head-to-head, but this schedule did favor Georgia. There's a lot of – now, Georgia's really good, and – they've handled stuff that they can handle, but a lot of the stuff they couldn't handle has also broke their way. It really have. It really has. They've got their, what do they call it, clean old, let me back up. We've got Egg Bowls and Bedlam Bowls and Civil Wars and Iron Bowls and Apple Cups. Georgia's got their clean old-fashioned, what do they call it? It's good old, clean old-fashioned hate, but boy, Georgia Tech's thrown in the towel. I mean, Notre Dame just wiped them.
Yeah, Georgia Tech is not real strong this year, so they hope a lot of guys don't get hurt playing Georgia, I think, and then get ready for the off season.
Coach, Florida obviously goes into the, and we'll let you go after we get a comment here and look at some of the games, and we'll do our official picks later. Coach has turned in his picks. Florida State, it'll be a weird, strange atmosphere in that stadium, no matter what, particularly from the Florida State side. What would you tell the Florida players? I mean, you're still putting that beloved jersey on that says Florida. You're here because you wanted to be a Gator. You only have so many games in college. I mean, Coach, how would you handle it if you were the interim coach talking to that team pregame?
Yeah, I thought the Gators played hard at Missouri. I thought our defense played well that first half, especially holding Beatty down pretty well. And then he got his yards over in the second half. But it's just, I mean, it's up to the coaches and the players how bad they want to play this game, you know? So I'm not sure. I've never been in this position. You know, our guys wanted to play every game. We were never ranked out of the top 25. Yeah, sure. So our goals were always to try to beat FSU, try to finish in the top 10 in the country. So I've never been out of it, and interim coaches and all that, but here we are right where we were 4 years ago. Sure. So it's going to be tough for our guys to get up and play, but we'll find out if we really want to go beat FSU. Yeah, you referenced, I think, the game I'm thinking of 4 years ago, whatever it was. It was a nooner. Coaches were fired. It was a noon game. It was a weird atmosphere, and it was just kind of a mucked-up game. Their fans were joking around with our fans. Yeah. It might be the same thing this year. Yeah, it was a mucked-up game. Yeah, we all like each other again. That's not the way it should be, but maybe that's the way it's going to be again this year.
Coach, we'll let you out of here, but some good games. We're not picking them now. You turn in your picks. And remember, special programming will air on Thursday, and you'll hear our picks because of the Thursday games. Some real good games. Obviously, this is rivalry week, and it starts Thursday night. You want to be in your seat and get that second or third helping of Thanksgiving dinner. You want to be in front of that TV Thursday night.
Bowl.
Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Egg Bowl. Friday, Missouri, Arkansas will be fun. North Carolina State. That's a sneaky, fun little rivalry when they get together. And you spent some time up in there. It's a pretty good little rivalry, isn't it? North Carolina State.
And if NC State wins and Wake Forest loses, I think NC State can win the division.
So those are 3 games Thursday and 2 on Friday to set the week up. Kentucky and Louisville. Kentucky stumbled a little bit after a hot start. Louisville's got out. Remember, they lost big to Ole Miss to open up the year, but Louisville's played pretty well. Clemson, South Carolina. South Carolina has wins this year over Auburn and Florida. It's impressive for Shane Beamer. I know both of those programs are going through issues, but anytime South Carolina, where you used to coach at, can get a win in the same year over Auburn and Florida, and there's talk now Shane Beamer Coach of the Year in the SEC. How about that? But talk about Clemson, South Carolina, that rivalry.
South Carolina was not picked to do much.
No, they weren't.
I think 4 wins was the max anybody picked them. And they've won their close games. Give them credit. But they do have attitude and enthusiasm. And when you got that, you got a chance to win. So
how heated is that rivalry? You're right in the middle of it for a long time. Clemson, South Carolina.
Well, we won 5 in a row, so our fans were very happy.
Okay.
And now they've won either 6 or 7 in a row. But
that's intense, right?
The South Carolina fans feel like we got a chance this year. So it should be a heck of a game.
Yeah, and it's at South Carolina. That's a Saturday game. The Iron Bowl has lost some of its luster. Bama has to win now because they're thinking college football playoff and they can't stumble. But Auburn now, Nix is out for the year. Auburn got beat last week by South Carolina. So the Iron Bowl, I think that could get away a little bit if Alabama gets it going. Wisconsin has quietly rebounded. They're trying to close out and win the Big Ten West. Yeah, and they're at Minnesota. Minnesota could play spoiler. Oklahoma State, Bedlam. That is a huge game. I mean, that is a huge game. Oklahoma still only has one. Both teams only have one loss. Oklahoma State is, they're in the middle of this thing.
Yeah. This could be one of the best weekends of the year thus far.
And it should be. Yeah. Of course, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah, with that one.
My goodness.
That's the big one.
That's a quarterfinal game, right? That's basically you could almost say they're in the playoffs, these two. And the winner moves on because winner will go to the Big Ten championship game. Loser will have their second loss, and you'll think they're out of it. So this is basically a playoff game. And, of course, Florida State, Florida. But yeah, it's a good week. Coach, you had a second week in a row. You whooped up on Shane and I. You went 8-3 last week. Shane and I both went 6-5, and our picks, our Safe Harbor Seafood picks, are tight. Shane's got the lead with 80 correct on the season. I'm at 79, and Coach, you're nipping at our heels at 77. You've gotten hot, Coach, last 2 weeks.
No, not really.
Or we've done bad, one or the other.
All I can say, I was lucky then. If I
8-3, Coach.
Pick more than you guys, but most of these games could go either way. A lot of times I just try to pick the home team, like all you guys do, if it's a toss-up. This week there's some good picks, so it'd be interesting, yeah.
Coach, we'll get out of here. Not to put you on the spot, but just wrap it up real quick. You stated earlier in the show you right now have no role in the search, have no role in the hire. Not to say you wouldn't pick up the phone or if somebody knocks on your office. You're certainly happy to give your opinion.
University of Florida is my school, my university. If I could help in any way, I will. But that's not my job to pick the coach. And anybody that says that I'm involved heavily in it is dead-ass wrong. Scott Strickland and his assistant, Jay Jacobs, and whoever else he confides with, I don't know who they are, but obviously the president and maybe some other people, they're the ones who will pick the next coach.
There you have it. From the mouth of the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. Coach, thanks so much for your time. We'll catch up with you soon. If I don't visit with you, happy holidays. Be safe and enjoy all this good college football. He is the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. I'm Terry Norvelle. We'll come back, wrap things up on the other side. It is a Monday edition of College Sports.
And happy Thanksgiving to all you out there. All right.
Lawyers nowadays try to attract new clients by putting big numbers in front of them. I can do that too, but the only number that really matters to me is the one I get for you. I can't guarantee you any particular result because all cases are different. However, I can absolutely guarantee you that if I take your case, I will work personally with you to seek the best possible result, because that's what really matters to you. At Allen Law Firm, clients and results are what we're all about. Call me anytime.
The good vibes. What? All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good
All the
vibes.
good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
It's time to thank the sponsors that make college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle possible. Vida de Luis Tequila, the official tequila of college sports today. Make sure you ask for Vida de Luis Tequila by name in your favorite bars and restaurants throughout the state of Florida, and of course, with your next margarita inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The official seafood restaurants of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle can be found up and down the northeast Florida coast. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The proud seafood sponsors of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, established in 1983 and offering complete site development. Go with the company generally considered the most well-respected heavy civil construction firm in Northeast Florida. Go with J.B. Coxwell Construction. For advertising information to get your business on college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle, simply shoot me an email, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, shoot me, Terry Norvelle, an email, and I'll get back with you. That email address again, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Back here wrapping up a Monday edition of College Sports Today. Thanks to our title sponsor. You know them well, the Allen Law Firm. Offices in Gainesville and Ocala. They serve clients throughout the state of Florida. If you've got a question, a thought, maybe you've been injured, been in an accident, we hope not, but if you have and you've got questions, what to do next, do you have a case? Call the experts. That's what their free consultation is for. Easy way to reach the good folks at the Allen Law Firm, pound YES. Pick up your phone and hit pound yes. Just that easy. And we always want to thank all these sponsors that make the show happen. You know all these guys, and they've been behind our show for a very, very long time. And we are also proud of our studio sponsor, Future Home Loans, well over 2,000 5-star ratings. Boy, that doesn't happen just by chance. They know what they're doing. The best in the business when it comes to securing your home loan. New home, refi, they do it all. Best in the business. If you're in the market for that service, contact Future Home Loans. Special thanks to Coach Spurrier. He's out of here, busy guy, and we held him for about 30 minutes like we like to do. In case you're just tuning in, he addressed the Florida coaching situation and his role or non-role in the search and the hire. You can hear that on the archive at the top of this show. The first 5 minutes was pretty much dedicated. And you should have just heard, hopefully you were still with us, Coach Spurrier. I had him reiterate again a few minutes ago, right before he left. And in his words, and I'm paraphrasing, but in Steve Spurrier's words, he said, no, he, to this moment, currently has not and does not have a role in the search or the hire. You may have heard. If you didn't, go back and listen, and we'll try and cut it out here. I asked him, of course, Coach, I'm assuming that if someone involved in the search/hire of the next Florida football coach, if someone decided to give you a call or knock on your office door, you're there, and he certainly reiterated that he'd be glad to help in any capacity. But as of right now, According to Steve Spurrier himself, he has no role in the search and or upcoming hire of a football coach for the University of Florida. That'll wrap it up pretty much here. A lot of fun this week. It's a fun week starting on Thursday. Good games scattered all throughout the final weekend of college football. Now, again, programming note. I'm going to catch up with my buddy Brent Beard here before Thursday. We're going to put a show together that will air Thanksgiving at 11 a.m. We'll give you something to do right before you're sitting down, your last respite before you do all that family stuff. Enjoy a special Thanksgiving edition of College Sports Day. I'll sit down with my buddy Brent Beard, who knows college football just about as good as anybody in the world. We're going to air the show on Thursday so we can include the Egg Bowl. We want to talk about the Egg Bowl and make that part of our picks. And, of course, the Egg Bowl is Thursday. And then a couple of games we're going to talk about as well are Friday, because there are games now Thursday, Friday, Saturday, as this college football season wraps up, as it always does, the Thanksgiving weekend. The following weekend, we will have the championship games. Those will all be set after this weekend is complete. And then, of course, the day after those championship games, we will know the Final Four, who is going to play for the national championship. Remember, Cotton Bowl, Orange Bowl, Indianapolis. That's the order. You'll start hearing that, but in case you don't know, one semifinal game is in the Orange Bowl, one semifinal game is in the Cotton Bowl, and the two winners will meet in Indianapolis. Lucas Oil Stadium is the site of the national championship game. Now, Georgia fan, you want to listen, particularly if you win a couple of games. You get in, and you should. Georgia's going to get in, and if they win, actually, let me back up. Georgia will get in. Georgia, as the number one seed gets to pick. They give the number one seed the benefit. Georgia will most assuredly pick the Orange Bowl, and then the other two teams will go to the Cotton Bowl. I would think for sure Georgia, obviously with a bunch of fans, much easier to get to, and the South Georgia fans getting down to the Orange Bowl much easier. So Georgia, when you think they're basically in, you would think that they are going to be playing in the Orange Bowl. Opponent to be determined. A lot of teams still hanging around: Cincinnati, Notre Dame, Michigan, Oklahoma State, of course Ohio State, all kind of jockeying there, and some of those play each other. And then spoilers. What does Wisconsin do? Wisconsin, if they beat Minnesota, they will face either Ohio State or Michigan. If you're the Big Ten, you're sitting there going, okay, Wisconsin, don't do anything stupid. Wisconsin could close out their own conference by upsetting somebody in the Big Ten championship game. Certainly the Pac-12 is out now, with Oregon getting blitzed the other night against Utah. And the Big 12 hanging on. So there you have it. Notre Dame kind of hanging around, but Notre Dame's got that ugly loss to Cincinnati, who Cincinnati may not get a loss. I just don't see Notre Dame and Cincinnati getting the number 3 and number 4 seeds. I just don't see that happening. That'll do it. We'll step aside. I want to thank, of course, as always, our producer extraordinaire, Evan Miller. He makes it all happen for all of our shows. And, of course, College Sports Day for the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, and Shane Matthews, who will get his picks. Shane's traveling. He'll be back next week. I'm Terry Norvelle. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and enjoy what's going to be a real fun week of college football starting Thursday. Don't forget our special Thursday broadcast coming up Thursday, Thanksgiving Day at 11 a.m. We'll see you then, everybody.